Hi, my name's Dee and welcome to Sunchild Tarot. Now this is, well these are even, because it's a bulk introduction, these are your full moon Gods at Play readings. Now I do the Gods at Play readings because full moons are about oppositions. They are moon opposition sun. They are also about illumination, about light being shed upon things. So they can be very much about revelation. I've made some notes about this particular full moon because let's face it, we've just come off the back of the peak of the Jupiter-Pluto Conjunction, which is playing out in a very interesting way, both in the world and energetically, if you're sensitive to that sort of thing. Certainly I noticed a little something. Little probably being a very patronising and minimising word there. But anyway, moving on. This full moon in Libra is at 18 degrees of Libra, so that is a master degree. Very much about death and rebirth, but being Libra, it's also very much about balance. And the themes that seem to be coming out of the astrologers are the balance between personal freedom and submission to a higher power, whether that be God, the divine, or whether that be governments, corporations, the law, whatever. Balance between your personal life and your relationships, and it's a very relationship themed moon as well, and also balance within, basically with your shadow self. So there's a lot of potential for work for you to be doing with your own shadow side and letting a lot of things go. This full moon in Libra is very much a declaration to act, and you may find yourself doing a complete about face on some belief or another that you have held for a long time, where you suddenly go, you know what, it's not even that I used to be wrong, but now I'm going to do something completely different because what I did think doesn't apply anymore. And it may well be some form of illumination that brings this to the surface. Now, there isn't a question with this reading. We are looking at the energies that are in play. The top row, it takes a very Gnostic view of the gods, seeing them as archontic forces or energies that are pressing us down, that are trying to separate us from our higher purpose, our higher selves. The bottom row of cards will be those forces, gods or energies that are trying to lift us up, that are assisting us to reach towards our higher purpose, our higher self, ascension, if you're into that sort of thing. Now, there's a timestamp, like I said, down below. You can fast forward through all my blurb because you want to look at your sun sign, probably first, which everybody does, but your rising sign as well. And it's a full moon. Look at your moon sign. You can examine other areas of your chart as well. And I will say in the readings which house this is happening in for which rising sign. Anything else, any other details, they're in the description below. Please press like, it helps promote the video. Please subscribe, it helps the channel, and I am very grateful. And thank you so much for everybody who has subscribed so far. I think I've only said that in about one video, and I'm slowly approaching 400 videos already, but I'm still a young channel and every subscriber helps. There is a link to a Facebook group down there, so if you want to see maybe slightly more effective notifications than the YouTube notifications of when I release new videos, but also I post all the astrology videos that I am learning stuff from because they're good astrologers and they're well worth a watch, simple as that. And sometimes I post readings from other readers because they deserve the exposure and they're good readers. There is a lot of good readers. Quick plug, Divinely Feminine, Woke Therapist, Jamie Zebra 23, Queen Cup. That was the other one that I wanted to recommend, Queen Cup. I think that's everything. Oh, finally, if you don't know what your rising or moon sign are, there's a link down there. You can get a free birth chart by following that link. You just need to know your time and place of birth as well as your date. So, I think I've waffled enough. With no further ado, let me bring up the cards. And welcome Leo rising, moon and other placements after the timestamp. And if you are Leo rising, The full moon is occurring in your 3rd house, so this is your potential to learn something and your local neighbourhood, which seems to be an interesting place to put this reading. So I'm not sure that this reading is necessarily going to associate directly to your 3rd house. Now, the god forces that are working to suppress you, we have Ul with focus, Gaia with creation, Persephone with compliance, Aphrodite with attraction, and Poseidon with earthshaker. Lifting you up, supporting you. The Jade Emperor with organisation, March with justice, Baba Yaga with loss, Penelope with reunion, and then 2 cards wanted to jump out from the mythic oracle, and that was Uranus the father and Atlas with responsibility. So what I am seeing here is that there is some form of loss that you have to deal with, which is causing you to come into connection with people or ideas that ones that, not that you've abandoned, but you had drifted away from a long time ago. The angel energy that covers all of this reading, we have the angel of being. My soul rests in the truth that my being is eternal. And bear in mind that you're number 5 of the zodiac, and that's the 3rd time this card has come out. So there's definitely a theme with this full moon. You know, I have a whole deck here to pull them from. There's plenty of cards in there, and 3 times that one. So there is a matter of being who you are, rather than trying to be who you want to be because you are trying to fit in some form of role. And that's what I am seeing with this Persephone card, with the compliance. You're trying to fit in, possibly trying to fit into some form of role, but it's quite possible that the opportunity to even try and do that is taken away from you, which is what leads to this reunion. There are other more upsetting interpretations of that, but I'm going to leave it at that because you can work it out and it's either going to happen or it isn't. But your focus has been shifted from where it's supposed to be. But what is supporting you is, as we have here, organisation. There is something that will come into your awareness, whether your focus is splintered from somewhere where it's not supposed to be or not. Because I feel that with the Jade Emperor here, your organisation, so to speak, will spot an event coming up, even if you weren't looking in that particular direction. And when that event comes up, whatever it is that this full moon is bringing to you, your attention will be able to shift to it. But I do feel that someone is asking you to bring something into being, or that you are maybe attempting to bring something into being, but it's more someone asking you, since this is right next to the compliance card here, something that you don't necessarily feel is right or is just. Now, I'm not saying you're embarking on criminal enterprises. You may well just be thinking, well, that's a waste of resources, because what we're doing there, these resources could so much be better spent over here. Why are we doing this? It doesn't seem right. But also you may be so focused on something that you have been led to create by others, by people here in the material world, that you are missing some form of injustice that will come up. And I don't want to say bite you on the backside, because that's wrong, because that's feeling like you're the one that's performed the injustice. You're not. But some point of justice will make it, so bite you on the nose would probably be a better way of discussing it. Make you suddenly aware of it, and suddenly aware of something that's going on. Right, 3 of Swords from the bottom of the deck there. So it's something that just be careful what you are focusing on at the moment, because the unexpected is certainly coming. But I feel that with Poseidon here and the Earth Straight, there is a big emotional upset coming, which brings us back to the point of that loss. But The solution to that great upset is even more unexpected and even more that will just make you go, whoa, wow, where did that come from? But it does involve you taking on a responsibility. Right, let's pull some tarot for this, because you are in a transformative time. Like I say, the angel of being, be who you are, shine that inner light from inside of you. But you are going through a period of transformation. We have Ayabamia with alchemy and transformation here. And underneath it, opposing it, seer with dangerous writing. So just be very, very careful about what you're reading at the moment. Not as in, oh my God, seditious information, but make sure that you fact check whatever it is that you're reading and being influenced by, especially if it's contributing towards whatever it is that you may or may not be trying to create at the moment, because it is through that you will be aware of some form of injustice occurring, or this creation is preventing you from being fair somehow. And I don't like to necessarily say for any creative works, but being fair is more important than whatever that creative work is, because there's too much else going on, really. Right, let's have a look. These are ready. Right, so you've been given a responsibility. Yeah, you've been given a responsibility, quite a burden that you've been attracted to create whatever this is that you've been called to create. But it could so easily go horribly wrong here with the Five of Swords at the end. It's almost like whatever you're working for on this top row, if you are paying heed to the gods who are trying to repress you, not a good idea. But that in and of itself will lead to conflict, or there is conflict that is going to come up that is going to sweep you off of your feet. However, the solutions to that conflict will be even more shocking, but not so much sweeping you off your feet. They are arming you with the tools to sort it out. The reunion is clarified here by the Four of Swords. So this reunion, whatever it is, and that's why I think it's more with an idea or a philosophy that you might have wandered away from, because the Four of Swords is a very solitary card. It's a card of rest and meditation. But whatever it is that you lose, which may well be this creation that you're working on, gives you the urge to move forward, and it's given you recognition. So it's not this, the energy that you've spent on this creation is not actually wasted, because it's given you the recognition. It's just that your focus is wrong, and now the world is very much turning itself around to give you greater focus. And I said about shining your inner light, we have the Hermit card here, right on the Justice card. So just fairness is really, really important right now. So beware about focusing too much, because it's almost like whatever this act of creation is, it's taken up all of your attention. You have all the tools for it, but you are incredibly burdened for it. And even though you're doing everything that you are told, it can soon go horribly wrong. So if you're working with someone and they've told you to work on a project, because bear in mind, this is a local neighbourhood thing if it is in your third house. So if you are Leo rising, it could go horribly wrong. So be very, very careful and make sure that everything is done with a sense of fairness. And that, for you to then even ask that question, what in this situation is fair and what in this situation is unfair, is a tool for diving in for your own inner light with the Hermit. But it propels you forward in a wonderful direction. I am loving these last cards. Uranus with the unexpected, the all-encompassing sky. I mean, yeah, he ate his children, but, there's you can forgive things of the gods, can't you? He brings a sense of power, the unexpected, and clarity with this Ace of Swords, but that also lands responsibility in your lap. But I think after seeing the unfairness of whatever it is, you want that responsibility to make sure that you can enact justice. Enact justice not as judge, jury and executioner, but as going ahead and making sure that the right thing is done. So I suppose, could you call that preventative justice? Nah. That sounds a bit too Robocop and not Robocop, Minority Report to me. But you know, I mean, just making sure the right thing is done in the first place, because whatever you're trying to create at the minute, whatever you've been distracted because you've been told that this is what you must do, it's not quite right. But you have the organisational skills to see through and chop away all that crap and see the right thing to do, which is probably why you've been plonked into this situation in the first place. But do not be attracted to jumping onto responsibilities just because they're dangled in front of you. That responsibility will come in and of its own by you finding a solution, or, you know, by this unexpected event. So do not grab the first role or post or task that comes along, because it's not going to give you time enough to reacquaint yourself with whatever this person or philosophy is that you're wanting to take back on board and bring back to the surface with the Justice card and this, with marked here and the Hermit card. So, looks like you're going to be busy at work, or you might be organising for your neighbourhood in the light of everything that's going on in the world at the moment. So, I'll leave that there. Your next reading will be your monthly reading, which will be performed over the next few days or so. In the meantime, comment down below if this means anything to you. But do be careful about what tasks you accept at the moment. Cheers.